I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. There it is, guys. The 2S Whoop is born. Rakon Heli has created a 2S Whoop, and you know what? It's super awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into this review because there's a lot I want to tell you about this new little brushless micro whoop. If you look on the Rakon Heli site right now, they have it available for an already built version like this, minus the camera, for around $154. Now it's kind of expensive, but for what it is, it's actually kind of amazing because right out of the gate it flew awesome. I put my own little FPV all-in-one camera on here. I didn't have the right one to fit inside this mount, but I'll definitely get one. I have another one over here that will actually fit it. I just pulled off of another quad in repair right now. So this is amazingly better than the original 1S version of a brushless whoop. 2S just really wakes it up. The power to weight ratio is amazing. It is through the roof with this, and you really can't appreciate this until you've actually flown it. So most of my friends that have flown this love it, indoors or outdoors. If you want to fly it freestyle, it's super forgiving. When you come around in a big power loop, you have tons of punch out with these motors and this prop setup. These are just push on props. They have the Race Star, I believe those are 1103s on here, which is kind of nice. 8,000 kV motors, very, very punchy for this particular setup. And the reason it's so punchy is because it's super lightweight. Let me just weigh this for you. Right here with two 1S batteries on there, I've got 48.5 grams, you know, considerably heavier than an original Tiny Whoop with a 1S battery on there. Tiny Whoop, the original version of it, is great for indoors, but if you want to take something small outside and fly it almost anywhere, you can take this one just about anywhere and fly it. People don't even hear it, and if they do see it, they're definitely not intimidated by this. It's really, really tiny. And I've got two S batteries down here. Those are the Crazy Pony 230 3.8 volts. These are the HV versions, 35Cs. So this is a ton of punch out, and it has these larger connectors on here, which, if you know about Tiny Whoops, this larger connector is a little better for these 1S batteries, mainly because they have less voltage sag and less bottlenecking for the voltage straight to the ESCs. And speaking of the ESCs, we have a 5 amp ESC setup on here, super tiny, and they are D-Shot 600, so also another good thing from Rakon Heli. Now the flight controller on here is super awesome too. It's the Furious FPV Race Whoop, the smallest brushless flight controller available in the world. It is super tiny and USB programmable in the back right there with Betaflight. So you can log into Betaflight with it via USB, and you can reflash this board with Race Whoop. That's the firmware that's on here. You can also add a buzzer to this little guy, which I don't have on there at the moment, but you can also set up the ESCs to beep if you don't have a buzzer after it sits. You can change that in a BL Heli suite. Now you Spectrum guys will be happy about this. It came with a DSM-X receiver right here on there, but you're going to need to go into Betaflight, and you're going to have to use a command prompt in the CLI to get this little receiver active. So you're going to go into Betaflight and you're going to type in this command. I'll try to put it up on the screen for you. It's set space spectrum underscore SAT underscore bind space equal sign space 7. Press enter and then type save and press enter again. And now it will be in bind mode. So unplug it from Betaflight, plug in the batteries here, and it will be in bind mode. And then you can go ahead and hold the bind button on your Spectrum transmitter, and you'll have it bound to your Spectrum transmitter. It's the only way that you can get this thing bound up because it doesn't have a little button on the receiver itself. Now, if you're looking for these batteries with this particular connector on it on Amazon or anywhere else out there, it's called a JST PH-2.0. that's what version of this is. So don't order the wrong smaller connector for this particular quad. You're going to need that larger 2.0 version of that JST connector. Now also on their site, I just noticed they have a 1S version of this one, and it's 67 millimeters. It's a little smaller, but you don't have the dual batteries on the bottom, but it's still brushless. And that one's a little more expensive. And the reason it's a little more expensive is because I see they include a camera with that one. This one didn't actually come with a camera. So the other one is pretty much bind and fly, B&F version for Spectrum guys. But that's enough talk and close-up look at this little 2S Brushless Whoop. Let's just go outside and start flying this one so I can show you how awesome it is out in the field. That is so cool.